Good afternoon, my people out there. Good afternoon. How you doing on this rainy Thursday? I know this situation is kind of like a couple days old to a week, maybe almost two. But I was looking at this Rodney Hinton case with his son Ryan Hinton. Ryan Hinton is the son that was shot by police officers after a car chase that they said they was in a stolen car, and he emerged from behind a dumpster. So what the police decided to do was to pump some hot lead into the young man, into the youngin, as I would say, and killed him on the scene there. They said they couldn't resuscitate him. They said they heard him fall, and they heard a metal clanking noise coming from his pants or whatever he had the gun at. And they said he had a gun. And I really, the type of person, I really listen to what people are saying. When I was younger and a few years ago, I would listen, but I wouldn't listen. But now I've trained myself to listen, very keen to what people are saying. Now, this is not really in the Bible, this word I'm about to use, or it's not philosophy, but I call it a wise saying. I see with my ears and hear with my eyes. But I'll tell you about that later on some other time. But to make a long story short, they killed the youngin. They killed Ryan, and his father, Rodney Hinton, saw the same officer, allegedly, that killed his son and decided to plow him over with a vehicle. But you see, you got a lot of people on one side saying it was justified, and you got a lot of people saying that he broke the law and it was wrong for him to do. But I'm going to show you what like a lot of people out there talking don't get a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? A certain understanding of the situation. When you talk to like older guys like me that was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s of the crack era and stuff like that, at the heart of the crack era, crack came out heavy like around 84, 85. But like when you got to like 86, 85 on down, it erupted. Now, the crack ain't really got nothing to do with this kid getting shot, because it wasn't about drugs. It was about them coming after them, saying that they had a stolen car. But what I will tell you that a lot of people don't know, especially in this time, like when the police back in the day used to chase you, when everybody was getting locked up in the 80s, the 90s and all that. I was a kid back then, I was about maybe, I would say around 87, 88, when I was out there running around like a lunatic myself in that crack era. I was about maybe 14, 15, around that. And around that time, what's so deep about it is that, and it's not me picking up for the police, but I'm being honest. Back then, they used to fire a warning shot. A warning shot would be two things. They will either fire a shot in the air, or they'll clip your arm or your leg. That's not three things, but that's what a warning shot used to do back in the day. They would fire a warning shot in the air. And then the second one would either they would clip your arm or clip your leg to stop you if they felt you was aggressive or you had any weapon, or before you could shoot it, or before you could point it at them. If they thought you had anything, they would yell out loud, freeze. You don't freeze, you look like you was reaching for something or doing something. They would clip a leg or arm. This is public record. You can look that up yourself. That's what they used to do. A lot of black men were still getting killed, but this is what they used to do back then. They would fire a warning shot first. But to make a long story short, they not doing that no more. They just killing grown men, young boys, specifically men of color. But you get where I'm going with this. But what's so deep about this case? They want to use it to fuel venom between black and white people. Even with the stabbing situation that happened over there with the two young men, and and the other young man that died was Caucasian. But to make a long story short, Rodney Hinton felt that he had to seek vengeance for his son. But sometimes our people do things and don't even know that it's spiritually connected to their ancestors. I would even be so bold as say he probably most likely from the tribe of Judah. But I want to show you something in the scriptures. Let's go to 2 Samuel, and I'm going to start in verse 1, chapter 1 of 2 Samuel, and I'm going to start in verse 1. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites. And David had abided 2 days in Ziklag. It came even to pass on the third day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes ripped and earth upon his head. So it was when he came to David that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. And David said unto him, From whence comest thou? And he said unto him, Out of the camp of Israel I am escaped. Verse 4. And David said unto him, How went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, That the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan, his son, are dead also. This is back then when we was ruling and had our own things set up. We had some of these people in captivity. They were indentured servants, as you want to say, or prisoners of war. And they would also come along with us on the battlefield, to scout out things concerning their own nation or other people, or when we were conquering other nations in those regions and areas. And David said unto the young man that told him, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? And the young man that told him said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilbai, however you pronounce that, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and the horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called unto me. And I answered, Here I am. And he said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. This is when they claim, the story have it. It is fact because it is history. I ain't going to say claim. Where King Saul was wounded and was dying. But instead of getting tortured and abused by the other nation, he wanted a quick death. You understand? So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live. After that he was fallen, and I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them here unto my Lord. Don't that sound familiar? A lot of our people going to the hospital with gunshot wounds, live, talking to family members and everything, making phone calls. Gotta get you cut your finger. Then the next to your family getting a call or coming to identify your body, but you're supposed to be at the place where they could allegedly save you. Wrap that around your brain. Wrap that around your conscience and press that upon your conscience. This is what's going on. Then David took hold on his cloth and rent them. And likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until eve, for Saul and for Jonathan his son, for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? Now that's deep right there. Everybody know the story of Saul that read the Bible a lot. Saul became a wicked man. But I'm going to link this in with Rodney and his son. Rodney Hinton and his son. Ryan Hinton. Ryan Hinton was involved, allegedly, as they said, in a stolen car. He wasn't living a righteous life. He was involved. You know, the laws talk about thou shalt not steal. But here's the thing. That boy was running away from them. That's the point that's being made, because it was on the body cam. And I don't think if you running away from somebody, you got time to turn around and point a gun. But that's just my opinion. And David said unto him, How was thou not afraid to stretch forth thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of his young men and said, Go near and fall on him. And he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth had it testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. Even when we in wickedness, the Most High still woke us up as a people. The Most High is still desiring to bring us back onto the fold. And I'm going to say something's going to hurt a few people, maybe some Christians, if they see this. They really is not in position to judge us after all they did in slavery and still doing to this day to the Most High's anointed. Even though we know that the Most High allows certain things because we're in sin, but it don't make it right, because what people got to look at, sometimes these people got a choice. Like any man got a choice. Now that substance supersedes your skin color. Should I kill him or should I not kill him? Should I shoot him or should I not shoot him? That's the point. But you already know with the nations, they sent out a debt warrant on us through their God that they're worshiping, the horn god. But the point I'm trying to make is that we're still the Lord's anointed. You understand? And these heathens and these other nations that's against the Most High's people are not justified in their killing of us. By no means necessary. And then right now I'm going to address another issue. Let's go to Revelations. I'm going to make this quick. Chapter 2, and I'm going to start in the 25th verse. Revelations chapter 2, 25th verse. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Y'all don't talk about this in church. Your reverend don't tell you this, or your local preacher, a pedophile priest, but you get the point. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessel of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. Now Christ said this is what the Lord told him, how it's going down. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit say unto the church. Now a lot of people might speculate what that means. But the nations will be broken to keep the laws and the commandments by all means necessary when Christ comes. And Christ is going to set examples. And what part of that Sometimes Christians and other Israelites don't understand that the Most High said, he said out of the mouth of his son, that the children of Israel will rule over the nations with an iron rod, like they've been ruling over us with an iron rod of wickedness, of straight wickedness. What part of that, could you confuse? Christ is not coming back to skip through the meadows, to hand out candy, have a birthday cake and sit down and cut slices, and have a nice lamb and feast, and invite everybody to the party and all that stuff. Christ is coming back for judgment, onto redemption, and onto rulership for eternity, forever and ever. Even if we sin, we're still the Most High anointed. It don't make us right for us to sin, because there's still laws that we have to obey outside of the Most High's laws. We have to obey the law of the lands and the law of the captivity where we at, if there are laws that match up with this book. But to make a long story short, they had to kill that boy. Now, do I justify his father? I could understand being a father myself. When you watch your children grow up, when you wipe their poop, you bathe them, you see their innocence until they get older and turn to something else. Then it's out of your hands. But that'll always be not only mommy's baby, but also daddy's son, daddy's daughter, daddy's baby. You understand? But these people, they like events like this. So they can say, you see why now we gotta this, that, and the third. But like Christ said in Revelations, his turn is coming next. And they will be ruled over with a rod of iron, whether they want to or not. My name is Brother Sadak. I'm signing off. You guys have a blessed day.